In 1992, elections were held into the Houses of Assembly, into the House of Representatives, and of course into the Senate with Dr. Yocha Ayu as the Senate President. That was when our own Ahmed Bola Tinubu also became a senator from one of the regions in Lagos State. But that experience too was aborted prematurely by the cancellation of June 12, 1993 election, and eventually General Sani Abacha had to take over. All that had become history now. Then by 1999, May 29, the journey into the Fourth Republic started. Now we are in the fourth lap. The first lap, 1999 to 2007. The second lap, 2007 to 2011. Then 2011 to 2014. And then 2015, then to 2023.
That's true.
Now, the People's Democratic Party had its Congress and produced another northerner, a former vice president, a retired customs boss from Adamawa State, His Excellency Alhaj Atiku Abubakar, against what we Southerners we say against all odds, against all expectations, that a party in Nigeria could still produce a northerner as its own candidate. I am not the only one in the studio. I have political analysts, social affairs analysts. Very close to me is a friend of the media. He comes around every Tuesday morning to analyze issues on the newspapers. Consultant Sonny Ajayi, he prefers that.
Thank you for having me on.
And I have a former parliamentarian who is equally a former chairman of a local government. So you can see he is a politician to the core. Honorable Moraina Adekoyejo, you are welcome.
It's nice meeting you, sir.
It's my pleasure hosting you. Now, let's quickly look at Mr. Sani Ajayi, emergence of former vice president as PDP's standard bearer.
Well, for me, it's nice to be here. You know, for me, it's not a surprise. You know, and for me, it's not a news. How do I mean? Because I know the configuration of the northern region, the monolithic north, which later it became northern states. But this day, our people keep on making mistakes. They keep on saying the north, the north, the north. Whereas it is not the monolithic north that we have right now. It is northern states. And the middle belt, even in the US, is not north. The middle belt is the middle belt. In the US, we call it Midwestern states. So now, then there is a particular section of this country that believes that the only thing that they have in this country is number one position. And they also think that when it comes to economy, there's another section of the country, that is Southwest, that controls the economy. So they now should be in charge of the political affairs. But the same PDP, in its wisdom, said, no, it's not going to be like that any longer. They're going to start rotating. So that if it's 8 years in the north, it's going to be 8 years in the south. And the PDP also had to do that because the PDP as a party is more or less a party of the South-South and Southeast. And if you take these two blocks away from the PDP is empty. The APC anchors everything on the Southwest. And we know from no far distant that the present president tried it 3 times. To become the president of Nigeria as a candidate, he failed. It was the 4th time that...
Let's first, deal with... We are coming back to that of APC. Now, let's just look at your analysis now. Wike is from the south. He contested.
That's true.
Pius from the south. He contested.
That's true.
Sagari is from north central. He contested.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Tambuwa
is from the north.
Yes.
Last minute.
No, Shagari.
Northwest. You are correct. Tambuwa from northwest.
Yes.
Shagari was from the northwest.
Saraki, north central. Kwara State.
Yeah, yes.
Tambuwa from the north.
Yeah.
Tambuwa stood down in the last minute.
Yes.
And eventually, PDP decided to go the way of the north again.
Yeah, the way of the North.
Of the North, let's say of the North, whether we like it or not.
Okay, of the North.
Of the North.
All right.
Honorable Koyejo, what would you say to that? And we're talking of power shifts to the South.
Thank you very much.
What will you make out of that?
It's a very pertinent thing. What that is a Yoruba adage which says Amokwewewo. Okay, then you have traced the whole history when we came here now. Right from 1960, where Tafa Balewa became Prime Minister, Awolowo became opposition leader, and Nnamdi Azikiwe became ceremonial president.
Governor General, yeah.
Fine. If you are look at this scenario, it's only the same thing as playing himself out. The Fulani are now master of the game, and my friend have said it all. They say they want to retain political power at all costs. Apart what you have just mentioned to us now, they are canvassing one thing on social media. Maybe you don't have opportunity of hearing this.
I've seen this.
One, they say that Yar'Adua spent 2 years. Jonathan
6 years.
6 years. Obasanjo 8 years, making 14. This year, police Obasanjo making 14. And Yar'Adua 2 years. This man Fulani Buhari 8 years, making 10. They are now claiming that the entire North, as he said, that Molodi North
10 years.
10 years. Then they still have South have spent 14 years, and they have 4 years to balance the equation. That is salary what they are working for. If I thought they picked Tinubu as a flag bearer today, I hope they will pick him. It will be a king contest between Atiku and Tinubu. We need to go extra mile to get ticket for Tinubu.
Now let's not come to the issue of.
When we look at it again, I want to start from where my friend is trying to anchor his in the sense that, you know, we also are countering them. That maybe their own arithmetic is not correct. Shagari also spent 4 years. Shagari also is from the North. Let's not say from the North, right? So Shagari is 4. Anyway, plus Yar'Adua 2, plus father now, Buhari 8, is what? 16. What is that? 8 plus 2, 4. That is 14. So if Jonathan is 6, Obasanjo is 8, it's equally 14. So where's the argument?
That is coming from 1979.
You are talking of the present political dispensation. 1999. He said it when he was alive.
But we are making that mistake. You see, we should not be buying into their own idea.
I'm not buying to the idea. I'm only unless we are getting the whole thing together.
It's only one country.
No, I agree with you. You are right. I'm not saying that, but
yeah.
that is their own calculation.
But
let's balance. I don't put sentiment to discussion. One, you are setting record straight.
Exactly.
Fine.
And
I agree with you. It's a superior argument. But we have only one country called Nigeria. Fine. You are not that. I just put.
Now, let us now go to APC, Congress. It is kicked off in Abuja. We have heard so much.
Yes.
The party, the National Working Committee of the party, together with the President, Northern Governors Forum, Progressive Governors Forum, have held several meetings, with a view to picking a consensus candidate. Would you have thought
It's permutation.
that the party would pick a consensus candidate?
No, I never thought of that.
So it has not yet.
My brother, let me come before Mr. Stoney.
Okay.
I'm very happy that I'm talking to an informed mind like you. I can assure you, with my own parochial sense of politics in Nigeria, if APC dare to do that, that's another party.
To pick
mark
a
my word.
candidate.
Yes, mark my word. Because Tinubu has done so much, whether they pick him or they don't pick him, I'm a pragmatic man. Nigeria will look. Now the question is that how is it possible or not to pick consensus at this level of competition? My brother, is it possible? If Buhari do that, he has buried that part. That's number one. In Lagos, 2015, I was part of the convention that opposed Buhari as the president. He didn't say anything stable to the delegates. He walked. The Southwest State managed the election for him, and the election was not contested, and he won. If Tinubu lost, let him lose a fair competition. Why consensus?
Okay, now to you, Mr. Sani Ajayi.
Yeah, for me, I agree with him, in totality. First and foremost, I think it's going to be a suicidal mission. And it's going to be dead before Jacob. Because sometimes they say a tree does not make a forest, but every tree in the forest is not the same. And if some trees are not in the forest, everybody will know. Like I said before, President Buhari tried 3 times, and he failed 3 times. He had his 12 million, 100 million, and the rest of it. He still failed. Because if any presidential candidate does not make 24 states of the federation, it will be failing. And even Atiku, I don't see how Atiku can make 24 states. No matter whatever they do. And I keep on saying one thing, people can rig successfully where they are popular. But when people already are really angry, and you now want to come over and rig, it's gonna be really tough. And then we have explained this before. Omobori Owo and Papa Jasin. Yes. People cannot just be cowed. And so I've heard about it in social media, just flaunting all over the places, Lawan, this and that. Then, when I heard the name Lawan, I laughed. Because I know Lawan cannot even win in his own state. All these elections, it has been, some of them could have not even been able to go to their own constituencies. They have been voting in the refugee camps. Most of these guys in the National Assembly, maybe allegedly, and he himself inclusive, allegedly, because he himself said it on his own. So if they are not really grassroots guys, and then you now pick one of them, and when you now look at the antecedents, it's either is a Fulani or it's either is a Kanuri, and then you now start reading minutes into it. And that's why I'm saying Mr. President cannot do it. Because Mr. President, in one of his interviews, although maybe people might say he was misquoted, he said his father is Fulani and his mother is Kanuri. And and then if APC actually wants to win, I don't think they go for consensus. I don't think so. Because Jagaban has paid his dues. And Jagaban is like the cornerstone of that party. All over the world, there are people who are like that. Even in the US, Joe Biden, why coming out? The first time he wanted to come out, they told him, no, you couldn't come out. Joe, he said, why? They said, no, that he did not have what Hillary Clinton had and has. Maybe now he now has it. What does Hillary Clinton have that he didn't have then? Number one, Hillary Clinton was the first lady of a governor for 12 years. Hillary Clinton was the first lady of America,
President.
First lady of America for 8 years. Hillary Clinton, left the Little Rock to come to New York, to become a senator because of the size of New York. Hillary Clinton later became the Secretary of State. Joe Biden was in the Congress for, decades. Joe Biden became the VP. So it's not the same thing. So Hillary Clinton was able to use all those applause her husband. And I said, you have what it takes. So that's why we say that there's some political pillars that they, on their own alone, can make or mar, and the kind of spread that actually Tinubu has, nobody can play with that. I listen to, his foot soldiers who are forced to be reckoned with in this country. Shetima has been talking and been letting us know this is the guy. And he even joked that anybody that is trying to say one man is smarter than that should be selling ice cream at Palogu. I added myself.
Okay. In the course of the discussion, the name of the Senate President, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, came up. And we have to make it clear from the information we have been able to gather from Abuja, whether right or not, with some video clips, that the party's chairman, Senator Adam Abdullahi, actually mentioned, I don't want to say he lied, that the president had picked Senator Ahmed Lawan as the consensus candidate. But some of the governors attendant quickly went to Aso Villa, where the president reportedly or allegedly told them that he had not instructed anybody to announce Senator Ahmed Lawan as the consensus candidate of the party. But my question is this to Honorable Adekoyejo. It was pretty easy, let me put it that way, for Tambuwa to stand down for Matiku. And we all saw it. Iyochihayu went embrace him, raise him up. Why has it been difficult? Now you take Shetima is talking for Tinubu.
Yes,
Rufai
I got
has spoken for Tinubu. And we still have Gandhi too, all from the north. And we still have, my question is to you, and we still have eminent Yorubas still gunning for the same flag with the same ticket with Tinubu.
Thank you, my brother.
We have Fayemi, we have Amosu, we have the current Vice President, His Excellency Yemi Osinbajo.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what does that
I'm very
tell
happy
us?
for you. This is a very serious discussion unless we are deceiving ourselves. Yoruba is now at the turning point. Let me frown with you. History has a way of repeating itself. But whether anybody like it or not, I'm not at them for love, Tinubu. I must confess to you. But I admire him as a man. He has put on all his best. And today, as far as my knowledge can carry, knowledge of politics, knowledge of history, knowledge of anything you may talk of, Tinubu stand out today in Southwest as a politician. He even excel beyond the Awolowo. Awolowo will be intellectually sound. But when it comes to political sagacity, Tinubu is far, far better than Awolowo. And when it comes to making sacrifice, he's an excellent man.
Absolutely, that's true.
When it comes to making these observers, he's a man. Fine, he has done all these things. But if you look at the history of Yorubas, you don't appreciate hero. Akitola, see the role the Sayon Obamiro play in the triumph felony of Chibamalo. But these issues is we are at a turning point today as far as Tinubu is concerned, because it's a rare breed. If not because of the courage, political sagacity, clout, intellectual spreading, he is as staunch to an institution. He will not be able to fight the war to this level.
He wouldn't, yeah, that's true.
I have to give kudos to him as far as my knowledge of politics can carry me. The man has put on his best. But when you look at Osinbajo, the like of Ralph, according to Ralph, they are digging their grave. Let me be frank with you.
That's your own opinion, no?
Yes, that's my own opinion as far as politics is concerned.
It's not your opinion.
It's my own personal opinion. Because if somebody make you do what you're supposed to do, try to bring your Yoruba race. Tinubu has fame running in his blood now. My brother, you know what takes you to be here where you are today. You have played so many parties in Bodrum, in the era of Arumbi, era of so many people as your chairman. Am I lying?
No.
Fine. You have come across so many unpalatable things before you get to this place. Fine. The issue at stake now is go beyond Tinubu. It's Yoruba race in general. Let me be frank with you. Tinubu has come, play his part very well as far as Yoruba race is concerned. To make it serve more than expected. Let me bring one patent example. I was a governor for Lagos State. He survived the slaughter of Obasanjo. Akade lost. Late Adefarati lost in Ondo. Ni Adebayo lost in Ekiti. Osoba lost in Ogun. Akade lost in Osun.
He retained Lagos.
Only Tinubu retained Lagos. That Lagos product what you are celebrating today. Though it must be in the course of doing that, it must be offend people.
Really?
Because I'm a well-informed person. But there is a proverb in Bible. You say, you have to use good things Tinubu has done to wipe his bad side. I'm a very blunt person.
Okay.
Though ordinarily, the question you are asked is a rhetoric question. That's a reference to my law. Most of the people that I know, I was informed, I was in Jos, a young man, that assembly, where Abela contested a presidential election. Atiku stepped down for him through late Musala Radua. Let me be frank with you. There's no unity, no sincerity of purpose
among Yorubas.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Now. Okay. Look at where he ascended.
Okay.
And it is clear. between the late Chief Awolowo and the late Chief Samuel Akintola.
Yes.
And some people said some frontline Yorubas played a major role in ensuring that Chief Awolowo didn't win the election in 1979, even though UPN was controlling 5 states, local states. Now,
sorry for interrupting, Mr. Anchorman. See what Ohajo wrote
in his book,
Depend
my will,
my way. All Awolowo look for his life, God put on his laptop for 3 times. That the best player candidate may not win
the election. Now, when it was the turn of Chief MKO Abiola, even after he had been imprisoned, we saw some eminent Yorubas going to the General Sani Abacha to take appointments.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Chief Ebenezer Abatokwe took an appointment. The late Chief Jakonde also took an appointment, even when some people were saying no.
But like they would have took appointment because of the ambition.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
Now, when it was the turn of Olusegun Obasanjo, either we like it or not.
But like we nominated Ebino
Thompson, yes. The North.
Late, I just nominate Bolaji Oshun.
I know. The North.
Then the vice president of Jakande took Minister of Internal Affairs.
Exactly. What are we talking about? Now, Mr. Sani Ajayi, the North literally made Obasanjo the president.
I agree with you.
The North. Now, we now have Tinubu, we now have Osinbajo, we now have Amosu, we now have Fayemi. When Itambuwa decided to stand down for
his own brother.
How do we describe it?
Yeah, you see, we should not lose sight of one factor in all this, because I want to situate it in the proper perspective.
Okay.
Tambuwa did not step down immediately.
I know, last minute.
It was at the 11th hour. And Tambuwa did.
And that is politics.
And justify the means. You are talking my brother. Whether I stop them or
I want to say
it is politics.
I want to say something.
It's politics. I agree with my brother.
Let's allow him.
I want to say something.
Okay.
Tambuwa was cowed to do it.
Okay.
Because I know all the meetings that they held. When they came out of that meeting, Governor Bala Mohammed said that he would not step down for anybody. Yes, that it could have been done earlier than this. And that he and Bukola Saraki were the 2 consensus candidates of the North. So why should he step down? And he would go for it. And he went for it.
And he didn't get it.
And he didn't. No, I want you to understand one thing.
I did.
Okay. And the 3 of them are Kofulanis. But this is Bala Mohammed of Bauchi.
Yes,
it's all Tambuwa is called Fulani. Atiku is called Fulani. So the 2 of them are Fulani. But one said, no, look, I'm not here to sell granuts. I'm not going to take that. This guy is not as qualified as I am, intellectually, and the rest of them like that. So why should I? I'm not going to do that. That is somebody too. And he has his name in history. Because if we are talking of one Nigeria, if we are talking of patriotism, it is not good what Tambuwa did. Many of us have talked about it because Wike was leading conveniently. And if we subtract Tambuwa's 193 from Atiku and something, you see that Wike really beat him.
So which means you are now agreeing that.
So for me, it is not yet time. For me, it's not yet time for Osinbajo. It's not yet time for Osinbajo.
Okay.
For these people to step down. One has to keep his joker.
Okay.
To the 11th hour. Let these people start playing their games. You know what I'm saying? Because by the time they step down and they're not saying they bring in a consensus candidate, they will not be able to talk any longer.
Okay.
Right. So if it's being put into vote, it's only the people remaining in the arena that will not be able to vote. Do you get the point I'm trying to make? So for that reason, they say, okay, listen, it's not going to happen. We are seeing into it. So by the time they're now going for the real thing now, and it's okay, it's not going to be direct primary. Those guys are not going to say, okay, we are stepping down.
Okay.
You see? Because to me, it's a joker.
Okay.
And joker cannot be used at this point in time.
Everybody Joe.
Yes, sir.
23 aspirants came up. Then the party screened them. And then we're now having 13. 6 northerners. 3 from the southeast, south, and 4 from the southwest. How do you see our own Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming out victorious of the whole 13? If no one decides to stand down for the order.
It's a very good question. If, as of today, if we put the rest at aspirants side by side with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, Asiwaju stand out to win election anytime, any day. And I will give you the reason as a scholar.
Okay.
One, when you look his political antecedents, he stand out time of clout. When you look of his political tentacles, is the bridge Buddha when we come to issue of APC controlling federal government today. There's no doubt about that. Almighty God is powerful than anybody. But the question I'm trying to do, if you are taking that credit from Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as a bridge Buddha, we are insincere to ourselves.
Okay.
Then when we come to resources, you know indices that's winning Nigeria election today, my brother.
Okay.
Asiwaju and Atiku stand out when you are talking of Nigeria resources, whether stealing, whether anything. I'm not
So you see Asiwaju Tinubu beating others.
Yes, all things be equal.
Being equal. Okay.
But when you
It's the man to beat. I can tell you that's man to beat for so many reasons.
Let
me tell you one thing. Look at Ganduje. My brother just said it. Setima made some pronouncement yesterday.
Mm-hmm. No, Shetima, Ganduje, El-Rufai, all the three have been talking. In
Thank you.
support of
When you are talking of NGO of northern
yeah.
politics,
Yeah.
El-Rufai stand out today.
If I can chip in some.
Okay.
You know, if you go by direct primary, you know, Asiwaju Tinubu is on top of the game.
Okay.
How? You know, Kano has the highest number of delegates.
I want to read that out exactly.
Yes.
Kano has 132, followed by Katsina, 102.
They're followed by Osun State.
No, Akwa Ibom,
Yeah.
93.
Okay, yeah, that's
Then
true.
Oyo,
Oyo,
99.
yeah, exactly.
Then Osun, 90. And then Niger, 75. Even Lagos has 60.
When you now look at it,
Then Imo, 81.
apart from Akwa Ibom State, and we don't even know where Opabio is treating to.
Exactly.
So when you look at that holistically,
Kano, Katsina,
Kano, Katsina, Kaduna,
yes,
Osun.
Osun 90, Oyo 99.
Look, the game is over. That's why they are afraid. The game is over. Because we are talking about delegates, and eventually they will have to go by delegates, otherwise there will be no APC. Period. Anybody can mark my word. So it's going to be by delegate, and already is captured. That's what we say, talking about a political giant in the field who knows his game, who has been practicing this, and who is not selfish like people say he is, because he has considered his own political ambition to some other people. Mamora now, when Asiwaju Tinubu picked Raji Fashola in Lagos, and the people that say, why should he be Raji Fashola? And then they went to his background and said, no, this guy will not be. And Mamora is the guy right now who was supposed to be. And he is as tough as anything. He's a medical doctor. So Tinubu said, look, come over here. You know what? Why don't you go to the Senate? And they come from the same senatorial, constituency. And then he gave it to him. So he went to the Senate. So these are the kind of things this guy has been doing. And that's why you see people like Ganduje talking for him. And you see people like Shetima from Borno State. And when they were talking about it, that, what about Professor Zulu? Shetima said Professor Zulu is for Asiwaju Tinubu. So
That's from Borno State.
From Borno State. So the Fulanis are for him already. The Kanoris are for him already. So what are we talking about? So in the Southwest, I don't know who's going to beat him. Even when the game is on, Fayemi will tell his own people to vote for Asiwaju. Fayemi said, when he came to Osun State, he said before he came over here, he has already told Asiwaju. He said it. We all heard him. And it's just like somebody saying me now that who's going to win on those states. When Arakuni is already Asiwaju. When Arakuni himself is a very grateful person, he's an appreciative person. He remembers that all those tribunals and the rest of them, the nation tribunals, it was either Olanikpekun or himself. And then Oshibajo will be following them up and down at that point in time. So these are guys that they will never, like Fashola said something, and I appreciate him for that. Although I'm saying it on the national television.
Yes, you are being watched all over the world.
All over the
On
world.
YouTube, Facebook.
So, why
That is it.
should I destroy my properties in Lagos? But I give it to him that, he's a very smart guy, he's very intelligent, he's brilliant, this and that. And he said one thing, that if not for Tinubu that God Almighty has used, he will not be nobody today. I give it to him.
Okay. Now, Honorable Ryan Adekoyojo, let's look at this. A couple of weeks back, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came out and spoke like a Democrat that he is, that if defeat is made level to everybody and he loses, he will embrace
So
the
be
winner.
it. Yeah.
But if, let us assume, and I want to use this simple terms, that if Asiwaju Bola Tinubu lost tonight, do you see him working for anybody that will emerge? A big question.
That's a very difficult question to answer.
You must answer it.
Absolutely.
Bola Ahmed is a human being like any of us. Having blood run is free. I've been saying certain things since I came to your studio. The man has made enough sacrifice. When Buhari started weeping after lost 3 consecutive times,
You went to him.
yes, he thought on certain issues about losing an election to Obasanjo. They know they are peculiar in the military background. Are you getting me?
Of course.
Fine. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in your own candid opinion, it's one time if you are a superior person, somebody who is more intelligent, more experienced, who can do job better. If I lost to him, that's a fair constant statement.
Absolutely.
But in your own candid opinion, I will ask you one pertinent question before I answer your question. Who do you think, in terms of governance, in terms of private practice, in terms of anything you may talk of, who among the contestants presently line up for the post of number 1, only God capable of doing it? Because we bank of Buhari fail us. That goes well. But another thing I want to ask you, who is better than Tinubu, your own candidate assessment? I've said it when I came here. I'm very happy I'm talking to an informed mind based on your preamble.
Yes.
Are you getting me?
I'm doing.
If Tinubu lost election today, if he decided to stay with APC, we would love to him as a human being. But I find difficult, that man may find difficult to do.
To support.
I'm assume. That's why I say, mark my word, that may be the end of that party.
Yes. What will be your own response to my question? If eventually
Well,
nobody
it's the man proposes,
God
God
disposes.
disposes. But if now they do it, through the back door, even if they use the roof and they say, well, eventually Asiwaju Tinubu is not going to be, it's not Asiwaju Tinubu that will decide. His followers will go en masse. They will make sure there's nothing called APC any longer. And the whole thing is not going to come to the fore. That all these things are being done allegedly to prop up CPC. Yeah, there are a lot of scheming going on. APC is a marriage of convenience, is a doctrine of necessity. And a doctrine of necessity, is time specific. It has a time frame.
Which is yet to produce desired results.
Yeah, so...
I got to look up this. I personally as a human being.
So,
Tinubu has done what's done him. Sorry, Mr. Sorry.
Let's go ahead.
okay, so, and the people will be so anxious, they will never allow it to run its full course. And then, what will now happen, you see, there will be so many policies, there will be some assaulting before they start being implemented. And that's what we're seeing right now. Because everything is going to be shrouded, in hypocrisy. And then the whole thing will collapse. Because it is not, with genuine intentions. So, if they now turn it the other way around, that means already what people have been saying, and people like us are saying allegedly, that, when something maybe occurred yesterday and something happens today, everybody's now pointing to what happened yesterday, that if Atiku could have been the father of the day at the wedding of the Mr. President's daughter, then we now know how the pendulum is swinging. You see, that's why political strategy goes beyond the ordinary. We need to put everything on the table and try to sieve everything. Even after sieving the chaff, we still look at the chaff again and again and again. So it's a movie. and the movie is in series.
And Ghana music.
And we're watching. We're watching. So for Ashodi Tinubu, he has no problem. I can assure you. If I were him, I just go home and just watch my television and be watching them. And everything is collapsing. Either the PDP candidate or the APC candidate is not Ashwaju, none of them will win the election because they will not be able to make the 24 of the 36 states. They won't make it.
If eventually Ashwaju Tinubu is given the ticket as the standard bearer, you said at the outset of the program that it was going to be a keen contest between him and Atiku. Yeah, no, it happens, don't worry. Ashwaju Tinubu versus Atiku Abubakar. You have described the contest prematurely, so to speak,
Yes.
as it's going to be keenly contested. Do you see Ashwaju Tinubu defeating Atiku Abubakar?
Maybe wrong with you because of posterity. It's an Herculean task for certain reasons. With all shortcomings of former vice president, privatization, this issue, that's our cup of tea. Hardly can you find any ex-political governor, this or that cannot find one or two things that's rotted there. That's not my cup of tea. But when you look at what takes to win an election in Nigeria, that is my fear. My brother has said it when he came here. The population strength of the north is there. One, Atiku has been contested election as far back as 1992 presidential election. There is a popular adage Yoruba pe bi ogun oje owo oje. That won't make Tinubu stand out. No matter the level of exposure, level of sagacity, level of intellectual ability, if you doesn't have enough financial muscle today, you will not go far.
But Tinubu is always said to be financially okay.
That's what I'm saying. Now, when you come after that MKO is equally financially okay. You know what happened to his election?
He won, but it was cancelled.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We are not we are only discussing what has happened in the past. We don't know what we are planning. Now, that's the nature of politics. We use an amendment to debar MK Abiola. What we use to stop this ruthless Jagaba again. They might be thinking of that. Out of very opinion is subjective. Out of very pragmatic about the whole thing. That goes right through my brother. Unless we are deceiving ourselves, blown grammar here from the southwest, do everything again. We have to be very conscious of the north. I have been telling me that as my colleagues. We are apparently serving. That goes right truth. I'll be realist. I do it myself. I told you it's going to be an Herculean task. As far as the situation of the country is concerned, political temperature, the body movement, political movements, body language, the north are telling us it's not going to be an easy task, my brother.
But let's not look at it again.
But I don't rule out that the bank can triumph.
Okay.
Opinion is subjective.
Okay.
That's where I look at it.
Let's look at it again from another window.
Okay.
You know, you see, the north itself, the middle belt right now is beating silly. Many people have lost their lives.
I believe
and majority of those guys allegedly do not even think they belong to Nigeria any longer, because so many of their lands have been taken over, their villages have been overrun. You know, majority of them are homeless. They are farmers. They couldn't go to their farm and dress up them like that. That's number one. Number two, when President Obasanjo was there and he was appointing his ministers and big guys, you know, a very prominent king from the north called him. I heard this directly from Baba himself, and I'm saying it here. You know, look, you're not putting any northerner, you know, in your administration. What have they done? And the person just said, what about these people, these people, these people? He said, they are not northerners. Right? And that is why today, those mid-belters are now saying they are not northerners. And so, the vote there also will be heavy, number one. Number two, whether we want to believe it or not, Kwara, the Yorubas in Kwara will not leave their people alone. Many people are crying for freedom. People are crying for independence. The people who have been subjected to series of atrocities, criminalities here and there and left and right and center. People have been kidnapped right now. They spend about 66 days in captivity. Wearing the same clothes, wearing the same underpants, wearing the same thing. Women are there, children are there, all of them are there. And then they have families. I remember the story of Papa Konde here. When the workers say, Papa, you've done your very best, but we ain't going to allow you to win the election. They stood out. People were thinking they were kidding. I was the one they were interviewing for Southwest report by this guy that now owns Rave. Femi Adefila, he was interviewing me, and every time he said, I said, well, for me, I've talked to Papa, but they will not listen. They are saying that even they put gold, they put this and that, they win the election. But what happened? Papa lost and Papa didn't go to any tribunal. So we should be very careful. So today, people are saying the Nigerian people have not been so divided. Today. People are saying today that, look, what do we want? We want our freedom. People are saying, can you take us back to 2015? And again, people are now saying, even in the north, that they are transmitting from one Fulani to another Fulani. And we have over 800 nationalities in the north.
It's a dangerous trend.
With so many languages. So many languages in the north. And they themselves are saying, are they slaves? So people now are looking for whoever is coming to make Nigeria one. And now when you hear people are saying, to campaign for Atiku Abubakar now, they are now saying he's a unifier. And we're now saying, how can he be a unifier anyway? And when people are also saying that Atiku is as strong as Tinubu, people like us say, no. It is the leaf that they use to wrap the soap that make the soap itself so important. It is a leaf. And when you see something dancing right there, on the surface of the river, there is something underneath who are drumming and singing. And if Asiwaju Tinubu has not chosen Atiku to go to ACN, that will be the end. If he has not chosen Ribadu to go for the presidential election, that will be the end. If he has not helped Buhari right today, he will still be Katsina. So there's no way we can rub off that. And there's no way the people, when you see the likes of Shetima coming up, the life of my very good friend, Erufai, that is a no-nonsense guy, that he told our PP that if all of them have been like him, will he be in the villa? Because the PP, allegedly has never won any election in his own polling booth.
Sorry for interjection. That guy you mentioned, Erufai, is a very smart guy.
So they all know.
You see, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a very good umbrella we can take. His governor has been having problem in the Kaduna for the past 8-9 months. I think you get it. Everybody expects the dam becomes question now. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want to say it without missing word. It's a very big umbrella for Nigerian politicians. See what did to Ladoja after impeachment. See what did to many of them. Yeah, this man has a very large heart. The guy, I told you one thing when I came here. Okay. I'm not his ardent follower. Don't doubt about that. At this age of mine, I cannot lie to anybody again. But let's give to Kudo to whom deserve it.
There's something again, if I can just chip in.
Of course, we have just 5 more minutes on the program.
Okay, that
we have
when you talk about
reports, news coming.
Do people even know the relationship between El-Rufai and Atiku Abubakar? And that is why, when I see people like that, I'm talking for Asiwaju, I say, Asiwaju has done well. It was Atiku Abubakar that introduced El-Rufai to Obasanjo.
I know that.
Yes. And all of them are now going in for that. And he is a full-fledged Fulani. Right. And Atiku is a full-fledged Fulani. I want us to look at that. Kadu just said for the first time in his entire life, he spoke Hausa first when he was in primary 5. So it's strategically one has to look at all these guys, one has to profile them, one has to know what is going on. And that's why you see Tinubu keeps on, getting more confident, getting confident and confident, because he realizes that the people that actually makes his call north are right behind him.
Okay, in a minute. Okay. If either Tinubu or Atiku won the election, I deliberately put in the past tense.
Yeah.
After completing 4 years or 8 years, do you see the presidency going the way of the Igbos? Briefly in a minute.
My opinion is subjective. Let me
Give it.
I don't think
It's
they will allow
possible.
that. It's possible.
No, for me, it's not going to happen because you see, it is not tablato. Tablato means menu of the day. You go to a restaurant and the food is ready. This is a la carte now. Well, people have to order. When they went for this convention of the PDP, the Igbos were over there. You know, the guy from South, even beat the Igbos there. Why they come together? Why they vote for themselves?
Yes, Ayim Pius.
Why can't all of them
Number 3 man.
Even the man
You can pick him to his game now.
Even the man from Akwa Ibom beat them.
Silly. Thank you, my brother.
People are now saying you should give it to them. He's another cat now.
He's a child play, my brother.
Restaurant, you order and sit down for the food to be prepared. It's not a plateau.
Nigerian politics is deeper than what you are saying.
So you need to be careful. I keep on telling my Igbo friends that look, you don't know what you guys are doing. Every time you worship money, keep on worshiping money. And you know we Yorubas,
The only person that can look at
and again we make that mistake that we Yorubas take all the tribes in Nigeria like us. We have dialogue with people on language. The Igbos now they discriminate from state to state. Even the guys from Enugu State cannot work in Imo. They won't employ him.
They don't like Okoroja.
You know, I work in Banner's group as a CEO, so I know these guys. You know what I'm saying? So they will not support themselves from state to state.
Finally, what should we be expecting from the conference tonight or tomorrow?
I'm a Democrat. If the vote is free and fair, we are all Nigerians.
Absolutely.
And we are not praying for Nigeria to break up.
No way.
We still remain Nigeria.
Yes, it's
I
true.
pray the sense of reason we pray on the delegate. They will do the right thing. If they do the right thing, the result is welcome.
That's true.
Find no manipulation, no bio.
And from Mr. Sonia
For me, let the right guy carry the day. Let it
Through a fair
let it be
election.
transparent. Let it be equitable. Let it be fair, and let it also be godly. So that at the end of the day, everybody will embrace everybody.
Yeah, that brings the curtains on this special edition of our program towards the APC National Delegates Conference going on in Abuja. We have had two gentlemen analysts, and they have traced everything. They have spoken as analysts, as a commentator that they are, and we have learned so much from what their opinions have been subjective. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah,
Objective, then objective. Largely, isn't it? Yes.
Well, it's our opinion.
It's your opinion.
When we pray that the
Yes.
convention comes out well.
Very, very, very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Sonny Ajayi, for being my guest.
It's good to be
And-
here.
Thank you.
Right now.
Thank
Sit
you
down,
very
sit down. You can go now.
Okay.
Yeah. Akinola Owolabi is the producer of the program. Oluwatoyin Yusuf is smiling. Probably we meet tomorrow. Maybe by the time we may have had the
Results.
the result of the standard bearer.
Very just-
We may still meet tomorrow to have this special edition. Stay tuned to the OSBC television. We bring you the major reports in the next 5 minutes. Thank you for joining us.
Olódùmarè mojúbà rẹ fẹ́ ìwọ làgbà bá.